It's a bit bright here, but this morning is the morning that we're going to Jimmy Carter's Sunday service. He teaches Sunday school some Sundays throughout the year, so that is essentially the whole reason for the timing of this trip. That's better. Okay. Yeah, so it's, like early in the morning, and we're on our way to church in southern Georgia. Really cute. Should be a fun time. Here we are in cute little Plains, Georgia, at sunrise. Stay on this road and then turn. Secret Service and all kind of other stuff. So here is the church. That changed a lot from the parking lot we saw yesterday.
Your patience and your kindness, and we've got 3 more hours of it to go, okay? So it's going to be a long morning, and for some people who got here at 5:40, it's been even longer. And sit in my classroom every day. They were called Secret Service agents. And I'm telling you now, if you got discipline problems, you need to get you an agent. The only problem is they're very expensive, okay? Very expensive. But to give you a prime example of what happened, I had a little boy in my classroom who I could not do too much with, okay? So I went to one of my agents one afternoon and I said, I need a little help with him. I said, I think I know now what will speak to him, and that will be if you will go over to his desk in the morning and put your hands on his desk and look in his little brown eyes and pull your vest back and say, no more. Does everybody understand why I want him to pull the vest back? Okay. And he said, Miss Jan, we can't do that. I said, oh, yes, you can. Because I'm not going to tell anybody you did that. And if you don't do it, after school, Amy will take the whole class for ice cream downtown Plains. He did it. And he is one of the finest business owners in my county now. My student is, because he told me that the Secret Service and Miss Jan changed his life. So, but I'm telling you teachers, if you don't have it under control, they're not learning.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Kansas.
Kansas?
Germany.
In Germany.
Florida.
Florida, okay.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Missouri.
Missouri.
Ohio.
Okay. Sunday with Carter is over. Now we're eating the best Southern meal ever. President Carter knows how to treat these visitors right. Look at this, is so good, so good. Okay, we got done seeing Jimmy Carter give his Sunday school talk just a couple hours ago, and then we went and had breakfast, and now we're back in the, driving across Georgia thing that you do sometimes. Yeah, it was really amazing. We talked about it over breakfast, that sort of, I don't know, the way he talks as someone who has been connected to, the status of things on an international level for the last 50 years is just completely different from the way you're used to normal humans talking. And so that's very interesting. He has a very up-to-date sense of what's happening in the world and, you know, what sort of opportunities he has and people have in general. It's good. It's really interesting to see. Yeah. Other than that, let's see. What thoughts stood out? It was cool to hear him talk a little bit about, like, I mean, the main point of his message was about what sort of person you are and your character, and I mean, it's sort of the message you would expect from a 90-year-old past president, about, you know, being a morally upstanding character and these sort of things. I think what surprised me, though, was his presence and, like, willingness to like really be there for the whole event. He attended church, and it's very obvious that he's good friends with everyone that he does this whole shindig with, and so that is fascinating. And then, of course, the usual, like, seeing how the Secret Service is always around him, and there's always, like, a crew, and that is, I can't imagine what that's like. I'm sure it's very interesting, but the people around him all seem to handle it very gracefully. And so does he. Yeah, so all in all, really cool opportunity, one that's not going to be around forever, and I'm really glad that we did it. And thank you for doing all the driving and for coming along. And that was really cool. Do you have any thoughts on
It was just a phenomenal experience for me. I think a chance to be up close and real, a personal space with someone who has actually been the leader of a free world, even though he's been out of that business for 35 years, still carries a sense of, I think, it carries a sense still with him of world responsibility.
He really does.
And that's very cool at 91 to see him still engaged in the way that he is.
In trying to make things better,
Yeah.
and in the problems that the world has. Yeah, I agree. It's really, really crazy to see someone who, you know, as a normal human being at that age would be, like, concerned about, like, what brand of sugar he was eating,
Yeah.
you know, and what he had in his coffee, and, like, he was so unconcerned with small things, and so really, really involved with, like, curing guinea worm on planet Earth, making sure that disease is eradicated before he's gone, and, you know, being aware of 5 other diseases that it's within his organization's power to eliminate. That is just a whole nother level of concerns when most people are worried about, like, healthy eating and, like, I mean, he exercises daily. I'm sure he cares about those things. It's that he doesn't worry about them. He just does them. And it just tickles me to see that that's something that you can do at 90. You can still be solving problems and, like, actively engaged in the world around you. That was cool to see.
And with people, he's very engaged with people. I mean, you know that he like any 90-year-old, he has his moments of sitting in a chair on his screen porch and, you know, thinking and contemplating life in that respect. But to see him still so engaged with people, and I know part of that is because of where he's been in his life. He will always be engaged. But it is very refreshing. I mean, there are 90-year-olds in our periphery, and 85-year-olds
Who are not so engaged.
they've just resigned themselves to live out, you know, the rest of their days.
Right, or associate only with other people their age.
Mhm.
And he's just not even a little bit
Not
that
even
way.
a little bit that
It's so cool. Yeah, so that was inspiring in every possible way. It was really, really cool.
Really great day.